I'm Chris Baker and welcome to Thunderstruck. In this series of videos we're going to show you the setup, maintenance, and generally just use of and having a lot of fun with this machine. This is the Thunder Laser Nova 63. That's 63 inches wide in the bed, 39 inches from front to back, and it's 130 watts. Now some of you are thinking, oh, 130 watts, you're just going to do a bunch of cutting with that. Nope, we're going to do some engraving. This here was done on a 100-watt machine. It's a Chinese machine that I bought a couple years ago. Sold it when I moved to Texas, but I just got this machine in about a week ago. I haven't plugged it in because I want to do this series of videos from the perspective of someone who's totally unprepared to receive this laser. So we're going to use only the things that came with the laser. We're going to use the original small air pump that comes with it. I know a lot of people, they upgrade their air pumps to use, or their air assist to use their air compressor. We're going to use that. We're going to use the original squirrel cage fan that came with it. I'm going to mount that on the outside of the shop. We're going to just punch a big hole through that wall right there and put that fan on the outside of the shop. We're going to cut a bunch of cool stuff. We're going to start by cutting some cabinets or some cabinet doors for my cupboards. Been meaning to do that for a while. My wife keeps telling me it looks like crap. I keep telling her I'll get it done. You don't have to remind me every 3 months. So we're going to do that. But we're going to use the crate that the laser came in. We're going to use the plywood that the crate was encased in, or that the laser was crated up in. I don't know if right now wood's costing, you know, 70 bucks for a sheet of plywood. So that's gold that this laser shipped in. We're also going to make an insert for the window back there to go around my air conditioner because that's ugly. And we're going to cut a bunch of these cool patterns that I have with the living hinges, and we'll explain that later on in the series. But for now I want to tell you about the experience that I had in the whole ordering to receiving of this laser. It took a couple of months to get here from the time I got the email saying it was ordered from the factory. This is a Chinese laser, but there's an American distributor that sells these. It's Thunder Laser USA. There's a huge group of support called Global Thunder Laser Users. A guy named Brian in there that's amazing. Bends over backwards to help everyone. And that's where I learned about Thunder Laser. And I saw all these people, you know, talking about how the documentation on the website's amazing. And Brian even does a weekly video cast to troubleshoot things for people or just show them stuff, or showcase some of the features of the machines. And it's just overwhelming, the difference between the little red and black Chinese laser I have next door, and we'll do some comparisons later on in the video series to that as well. But basically I bought that one from eBay, and support was non-existent. Still is non-existent. And then the company changed names a couple times, and anyway, we're going to go over setup on this in the next video. For now I want to tell you what it came with. It came with the industrial chiller. This is the 5200 model. Most of your smaller lasers, your 40 watts and 60 watt machines, they'll throw you a 5000 series in there, and that's not a chiller. It's just fins inside there, and it's a radiator basically with a fan that blows through the radiator. And in a hot Texas day like here in July, that's not sufficient. You have to have an active cooling system with a compressor and refrigerant that actually cools the water as it goes through, or else it's going to overheat. The tube in the back of the laser is glass, and there's water that runs through it to keep it cool while it's in use. And on a hot day, one of those coolers won't work. It also came with this, like I talked about before, the small air compressor. It's going to work fine. It came with all the tubes, tools, spare parts, and everything you need, including a wider opening head to do some engraving with, and you know, one tip is for engraving and one is for is better suited for cutting. It came with spare belts, magnets to hold stuff down to the honeycomb bed. That's the other thing. The laser next door, it came with on the bed it has these knives, these a knife bed is what it's called, but these metal slats, and you set your stuff on it. The Thunder laser, it came with the honeycomb bed, and it's got alignment notches on the honeycomb bed so that you can reposition things over and over again in the same spot on the bed. And it also came with the knife bed. So you lift up this honeycomb bed, and underneath it is the knife bed. It has a pass-through slot, so you take this panel off. There's a key that came with it that fits everything, and you simply put that key in there, turn the key, and the panel comes out. You can slide a half of a sheet of plywood in here, and you know, prop it up on this side and just cut. It's huge. It came with the air ducts, and it's a ribbed air duct. I'll show it to you. And that's what we're going to use. Later on in the series, we may upgrade to a solid PVC hard plumbing setup, but for now we want to see how the laser works right out of the box, plugged in with everything it came with. When the email came saying the laser was going to be here in a couple of days, I was sweating. So I came out, and I actually hadn't measured my door. I was assuming I was going to have to take this machine apart because it's a little over 80 inches long, and then anyway, it's huge. So it barely fit. I ended up painter's taping the sides of it. I used some blue painter's tape, and it had about 1/8 of an inch on each side, and it slid through the double doors over there that you can't see. And the UPS driver, you know, to his credit, he was very skilled. He acted like he delivered 5 of these in the same day. It was the only one on the truck, but he threw the pallet jack over the crate, tucked it in the other side so it was hanging off the back of the lift. We lowered the lift, he pumped up the pallet jack, rolled it off, we lined it up with the door, and then rolled it right in. The casters on this thing are amazing. I mean, this laser weighs 1,200 pounds, and I can just barely, you know, put a little weight into it, and it rolls across the floor. They got locking casters on it. It's really nice. So really don't be afraid to get a big machine and think you're not going to be able to move it around. This thing moves just so smoothly. It's crazy. The water is the only thing I'm missing. I'm missing the water. We're gonna have to go buy that, and then we'll set everything up next video. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to take it apart, although the machine does come apart at the seam there, and you can turn it sideways and fit it through a regular door. But I'm excited about it. It's a really nice machine. I can't wait to get it up and running. This machine will cut 3/4 inch wood and mainly I bought it to cut a lot faster of more parts than I was cutting with my machine next door. This machine runs off of Lightburn software. It comes with a license for Lightburn. If you've ever used a Chinese laser before, you probably used RD Works, and it's not very intuitive. It's a very hard to use, steep learning curve program, and it's translated from Chinese to English, and a lot of the things are just not easy to use. Lightburn was written by a guy named Jason Dory, and he made this software for Chinese lasers and makes it super easy to use. And that comes with this. We're going to set up a little workstation in the corner. We're even going to bring my neighbor from up the road, who's 55, and I'm going to show you that anybody with no knowledge of a laser can come in and cut a few projects that they want to do with just a few simple instructions. Anyway, thanks for watching, and watch out for the next one. It'll be in a week or so. We're going to actually set it up and show you how to do everything to get the machine ready. Thanks.